Hi guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about The Flash, episode 219, titled Back to Normal, which premiered Tuesday, April 26, 2016 on the CW. Guys, quite a bit happened in this episode. Let's begin with the 10-minute clock, and let's get started. So something new we learned in this episode. So this episode shows Barry without his speed. And this episode's metahuman is Griffin Grey, who has super strength that, unfortunately, every time he uses it, it causes him to age. So because of this, Dr. Wells' kid is kidnapped by Griffin Grey, who wants him to find a cure to this aging thing. During this whole thing, Dr. Wells realizes that he can't truly forget his involvement, which is what he thought he could do once he closed all the breaches. But since Dr. Wells is taken, Jesse is recruited to help find him, since he was taken shortly after he had found her. Also, during the encounter between Barry and Griffin Grey, their plan was basically to exhaust Griffin to death, so that he uses up all his strength to the point that it ages him into nothing. Because Barry's suit can only withstand one super punch to the torso, thanks to the dwarf star aloe oil that Felicity sent them, that Ray used for his Atom suit. So Barry manages to take a few more hits than necessary, but they get the job done. After all this happens, we get apologies and make-up hugs between Jesse and Dr. Wells. And they are both back, living in a bunker at Star Labs. Now, back on Earth 2, we see Caitlin coming face-to-face with Killer Frost, her doppelganger, as well as dealing with quote-unquote carrying Zoom, which I'll touch upon in a moment. But in this episode, we actually get a few backstory points to Killer Frost, in regards to the fact that she had a brother who died, caused her mother to be a frigid, cold-as-ice woman. She flunked out of med school. She was dealing with a cold when she got hit with the particle accelerator explosion, or the dark matter, and things just started changing from there. Throughout this whole little sharing and carrying moment, Caitlin is trying to figure out a way to get Killer Frost out of her cage, because Killer Frost made a deal saying that she'd help her get down the cliff if she did that. While Caitlin breaks her out, Killer Frost turns the tables and tries to kill Caitlin. Fortunately for her, Zoom comes in and kills Killer Frost, since he no longer has any use for her now that he has the real Caitlin that he fell for with him. Which is kind of why Killer Frost has been alive this whole time, was because of her doppelganger status with Caitlin. Like I said before, Zoom's quote-unquote affections for Caitlin are said. He claims that he loves her. He claims he wants her to stay with him. We see him flashing back to his memories as a kid when his mom was killed, based off of a few things that Caitlin says unknowingly to him, like she wants to leave, or calling him Hunter, and stuff like that. We also find out that Zoom always measured his victories based off the number of victims, but now he's going to measure it based off the number of Earths that he's conquered. So he takes Caitlin, and it is assumed that they are going back to Earth 1. Since he technically already conquered Earth 2. Other things that happen in this episode, we see Wally getting the chance to thank the Flash for his sacrifice, and he tells him that this second chance at life won't be wasted. Looks like Barry appreciated that, even though he's still hidden from Wally. We also see that Dr. Wells is determined to help Barry get his speed back, and his idea to do that is to recreate the particle accelerator explosion that had given Barry his speed to begin with. So there's that. So what was the most shocking moment in the episode? I would definitely have to say Dr. Wells wanting to recreate the particle accelerator explosion again to get Barry's speed back that way. It's definitely surprising, since that explosion is what caused all the mayhem that they've experienced in the city, especially with all the metahumans and Zoom. That's how Zoom was created, so there's that issue there. Moving on to top 3 favorite moments, though. For me, the first one definitely has to be all the doppelganger fun, between Caitlin and Killer Frost. It was interesting to see them share backstories with each other, to see just where they were the same and where they were different. Like the fact that Caitlin doesn't have a brother, but Killer Frost did have a brother and she lost him, or he was killed. The fact that both their moms were considered frigid women, with a heart as cold as ice. We would think they were Killer Frost instead. You got Caitlin becoming a doctor while Killer Frost flunk out of med school. So it was great to see just where they were the same and just where they were different as well. And them trying to figure out themselves what made them different and such like that. Another favorite moment for me has to be the fact that Jessie is back to stay at Star Labs. It's great to see that. One particular moment that I really liked was the whole scene where she told the Flash team that she majored in biochemistry in college as one of her majors, and then only to reveal that in college she had 5 majors, and that completely stunned Barry, Cisco, and Iris, because that's not a common thing. Well, she thought that was. So I just liked the whole interaction in that scene. Was pretty funny, and it just shows how truly insane Jessie is with her intelligence. She's like genius level, I would say, for sure. So it's great to see her back. It's great to see her contributing more. Hopefully she's not replacing Caitlin, but it's great to see her as another addition to the team. And she seems to be getting along with Cisco and helping him work on a few projects and such like that. Another favorite moment for me has to be Iris telling Barry that he is a hero with or without his speed. I really like that. It was a great moment between the two of them, especially when Barry told Iris that she was actually the first person he ever saved with his speed, and that was before he even realized what he could do with it, or that he even had it. So it's great for them to not only have him see the faith that she has in him, but also have her hear just how much Barry needed his speed, in a sense that he viewed having speed, meaning that he could do a lot more and help save the city. So it's just a really great moment between the two of them. It's definitely an appreciated one, for sure. But moving on to top 3 peed moments. First one is the fact that Killer Frost is killed just after we learned more about her. I hate it that the moment we learn more about a certain character, that pretty much means that they're going to die shortly afterwards. I don't like when that happens. It kind of makes me not want to learn about the character just so that they're alive longer, if you know what I mean. Another peed moment is the fact that Barry still doesn't have his speed anymore. I thought there may have been signs that the Speed Force hadn't truly left him. The fact that we don't really see anything of that like that in this episode is kind of what bugged me, but it makes sense why he doesn't have his speed. I would have been irritated if it was like a quick fix type thing, because it's not, but I still would have liked maybe you would see some remnants of his speed still within him. Like maybe he moved faster than he should have without even realizing it, because maybe there's some inkling of the speed back, because the Speed Force is a part of him. You can't immediately take it out, as we've seen before. So it's just the fact that we saw no remnants of it still being there, that's what bugged me. So what I'll remember most when I look back on this episode, the fact that Barry didn't have his speed. Especially in the beginning, when the episode first starts, you see how Barry starts his day with his speed. And then it cuts to Barry starting his day without his speed. And it was just so sad to see the difference in how much he had to basically go back to what his life was before he got his speed. So it was pretty sad to see him struggling with that adjustment again. So random questions quickly. First one, will Barry let Dr. Wells recreate the particle accelerator explosion and risk creating more meta-humans than they would have liked? On the one hand, I kind of want him to, but I hope that they can isolate it so that only Barry is affected by it. But on the other hand, I don't want them to, because then that would mean more meta-humans that they'd have to deal with. So it's kind of I don't know what to think about it, but I'm wondering what you guys think about that. But I guess we'll find out in the next episode. Next question. Why can't Barry get his speed back like he did back in episode 107 when he first lost his speed? In that episode, he actually had his speed drained from him from a metahuman that dealt with electricity. And yet, when Barry got back his speed, because it was a psychological block, and the only way he overcame that block is when he actually tapped into his speed on a cellular level. So why can't Barry do the same thing now? Has he even tried repeating that same process, or is he automatically assuming that, oh, that's it, I don't have that's it, I can't get it because Zoom has it all? It's just, I don't understand why what he did in 107 can't be replicated again. And last question, who could be the man in that iron mask that is Zoom's prisoner? There's a part of me that wants to think it's James Zolomon, Zoom's father, the one that killed his mother. But and he's just been there for a really, really long time. But it definitely has to be someone who means something, just like how Zoom kept Killer Frost as a prisoner because she was Caitlyn's doppelganger, and he loved Caitlyn. So there has to be some connection between the man in the iron mask, and Zoom, for sure. So moving on to predictions very quickly, though. Based off the promo for 220, it looks like Zoom is back to take over Earth 1. And it seems like Barry tries to get his speed back by having the explosion recreated. And we also see Henry Allen return, and that is Barry's father. We haven't seen him in a while, actually, now that I think about it. Based off the synopsis, though, for the episode, it looks like Harry and Joe are going to be at odds about Barry's plan to get his speed back. It seems like the metahuman Rupture is apparently the Earth 2 counterpart of Cisco's brother Dante, and he wants revenge for Reverb's death. Does that mean he's going after Zoom, or does that mean he's going to go after the Flash, thinking that he killed Reverb? And also, synopsis states that Iris is going to be contemplating whether or not she should tell Barry about her feelings. That's going to be something. Overall predictions, though, I am still waiting for a mention of Supergirl in National City. We have not had any clue or any hint to Barry's trip over there, and it's really bugging me, the fact that he's not bringing it up at all to anybody. So yeah, that frustrates me. Hope that's rectified before the season ends. Also, I think that Iris may think about telling Barry about her feelings for him, but she could chicken out at the last minute in telling him because the timing won't be right, especially if Zoom is all he can think about defeating right at the moment. She doesn't want to maybe distract him, or she might tell him just because she thinks she might not see him again, like as a last goodbye type thing, which I hope she doesn't do. But there's also that. Also, I think Wally could uncover that Barry is the Flash. Maybe it could be during the explosion that happens to get his speed back. Maybe that's the case. But I also think that there are going to be more metahumans created if this particle accelerated explosion happens again. Maybe if that's the case, Caitlyn could be affected this time around. Maybe having her turn into Killer Frost of Earth 1. Maybe Wally West could be affected, getting speed that apparently happens for him in the comics. Or even Jessie Wells as well could get speed because she's apparently Jessie Quick from the comics, and even Dr. Wells calls her Jessie Quick. And she also had that concentrated version of Velocity 9 injected into her, so maybe the accelerator explosion reacts to the remnants of that Velocity 9 inside Jessie. So maybe we get different other metahumans, who knows. But that's what it is. So what did you guys think of the episode? What did you like about it? What are your own theories about it? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, as well as your own thoughts, theories, and predictions about what's to come. And if there's anything from the comics that could maybe hint towards if I'm going the right direction with my predictions, let me know then too. I haven't read them, so that's just what I think could possibly happen off of what I saw. Also, if you want, check my Tumblr page. Links for that will be down below. One for this episode and one for the page that gives you all the tags for the Flash, as well as Arrow and Legends. I'm still behind on Tumblr, so still check it out later on, though. I'm definitely going to catch up once I'm able to. But links for that are down below in the box. And that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for your patience. I hope you come back next week to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, this is Mel. Wishing you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.